Thank you. Good morning, and thank you for having me here this morning. I brought a presentation for you that was titled, or is titled, When Digital Becomes Human. It's also the title of my latest book, and I think this is a very hot topic right now in the retail industry. This is about how will we deal with our customers in the future, which parts will we do through digital channels, and what will be the role of humans in that world. And I just want to start with one of my favorite examples in the world. I'm a big fan of Disney, I have to admit that, and I'm even a bigger fan of Disney World, because if you go to Florida in Orlando, as you know, Disney World is probably the biggest retail world out there. It's the biggest shopping mall out there. And what they've done in that offline world is they added a digital layer to it. So if you go to Disney World, every member of the family gets a magic band. And this thing basically does everything for you. So it opens up your hotel room, it gives you access to the park, it allows you to pay. These are the payment terminals, so the only thing you need to do is you hold the bracelet against the Mickey sensor turns green, and you've paid. Now, me as a Disney fan, I become really happy when I see a Mickey Mouse light that becomes green. That makes my day. So for me, this is extremely dangerous. I walk around there like that. It goes like this. And I spend a lot of money, but I don't notice it. So it's really fun. But 5 days later, when you get the bill from the park, it's scary. Then you think, OK, this system works really, really well. So, and personally, I thought that this is typically something for me because I am an easy victim for these things. So I was really happy when I read the annual report and when I saw the financial results of Disney that said the magic bands are actually magic money makers. I wasn't alone. People with a bracelet spend about 30% more than people without a bracelet. So it's pretty easy if you think about retail. If you make it fast, easy, and fun for people to spend money with you, guess what they will do? They will spend money on you. And I tried the whole system out. I tested everything. They are waterproof. But the best thing is that the interaction that they made with the app is just amazing. So for the non-Disney World experts in the room, Disney World is really, really big. It is twice the size of Manhattan, New York. It has 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, 3 shopping centers, 3 golf courses, 35 hotels, 250 restaurants. It's huge. On that entire area, they have a perfectly working Wi-Fi. And then it's brilliant. You're walking around there like this, and you think, OK, I want to go on a ride. I want to go on Space Mountain, for instance. You make the reservation through the app, and then you go to the ride. You use your bracelet against the sensor. Mickey becomes green, and off you go. Or you make your restaurant reservations through the app. And something is really brilliant. What they've done is, in one of their restaurants, they placed sensors outside of the restaurant. So what happens is you walk to the door of that restaurant, and just before you arrive at the door opens up, and they're saying, hey, Steven, we were expecting you. And you have 2 small children with you, so the 2 high Mickey Mouse chairs are already waiting for you. Enjoy your dinner. Now, that's brilliant. This is, and no one complains about privacy in Disney World. They use a different word for it. They use the word magic over there, which is a better terminology. And it's fantastic because what actually happens is this. What they do is they use technology to allow people to deliver a higher service levels. This is my 1-slide summary of my presentation. I believe this is the future of customer relations in retail. If you succeed in this, I think you're going to win. What if you find out a way to use computers and robots to operate all your, or automate all your operational processes, and because of that, you can actually let humans perform better. That's what I believe in. Just a small retail example, like my sister-in-law, she has a small pharmacy in a city in Belgium where I live, in Ghent, and she has a behind-the-scenes robot. So that robot, in the morning, puts all the little packages of all the medication, it puts it on the shelves, and when a client comes in, she types in her computer what she needs, the robot picks it out of the shelves through a tube system, it pops up next to her computer. And it's fantastic because, you know, she went to the university for 5 years to become a pharmacist. And the truth is, before the robot, she had to walk around 30% of her time with boxes, from the truck to the shelves, from the shelves to the client. Now, thanks to the robot, she can focus 100% on her expertise, sharing her knowledge about pharmaceutical products. Because of that, her team becomes more excited. Because of that, her clients become more excited because clients have the feeling like, hey, They actually have time here for me. And because of that, her revenue increased with 50% over the last 18 months. That's what I believe in, the power of combining digital and human. Maybe you've been in a management course before in which they told you, they said, dear retailer, you need to choose your model. And you either need to be the most efficient player in the market, or you need to be the one that has the biggest or the best customer experience. I don't believe that holds anymore. I think if you really invest in digital in the right way, you're going to be more efficient than ever before. And if you invest in humans in the right way, you're going to be more customer-focused than ever before. Let me show you this example. This is one of the new hotel chains that we have in the world. It's called Citizen M. They do everything different than a traditional hotel. They have the smallest hotel rooms in the world. You have to get used to that. But also the check-in. They automated the check-in because they believe that a human doesn't add value during the check-in procedure in a hotel. They're saying that all that information is digitally available because you did the booking online, so it's very easy for people to check in through an automated system. But we will use humans in the most important part of the hotel. And what is the most important part of the hotel? That is the bar. And I don't know how it is in Turkey, but in Belgium and Holland, if you go to a business hotel, the bar is like the saddest place on earth. The people that are working there because they get paid to work there. They're not having fun. At Citizen M, the bartenders are having fun. They're having the time of their life. The bar is open 24/7. They have good food, good drinks, and fantastic working Wi-Fi. The hotel rooms are so small that everyone's in the bar. That's the good part. You only need discipline to leave the bar. That's the only difficult part. But some people like this, some people dislike that concept of that hotel. What I like is that they actually became very, very extreme. They made a choice. They said, in the check-in, we're going for efficiency. In the bar, we're going for emotion. And I think we need to be more extreme in those choices. I don't know if you guys have seen this movie. This is one of my favorite Disney movies. It's called Inside Out. If you haven't seen it, this is homework to do that tonight. Because I think as a businessman or woman, you need to understand this movie. This movie explains you how our brain works. It tells you about the emotions that we have. And you will see, if you look at this, that we have 5 emotions, of which 4 are negative. So the person who programmed our brain made a huge mistake. We have sadness. Look, we have sadness, we have anger, we have disgust, and we have fear. We only have one positive emotion, it's joy. All the others are negative. That's why we complain so much in life. That's why your customers complain so much. They cannot help it. Our brain is programmed in a wrong way. Now, if you know that, if you know this, what if we plot Inside Out on our management model? I think that's what happens then. This is, for me, the future of customer relations in retail, where you succeed in neutralizing all the negative emotions through fantastic working digital interfaces. And thanks to that, joy, the human, can add an emotional layer to that. Now, some people tell me, some retailers tell me, hey, Steven, we're already good in the human part, so that part is covered. The digital part, we've got time. That's a problem today, because if you don't have this, then the life of the humans is really, really sad, because then the humans need to neutralize all these negative emotions. It's very important that your digital part works well to illuminate or to neutralize this so she can score points. That's how it works. That's the point when you reach that philosophy of when digital becomes human, where you use the strengths of the human part and the strengths of the digital part side by side. Now, I want to take you on the digital journey in this part, because I really believe that 2016 was a very, very interesting year. We have reached the end of a cycle. Everything has matured. The adoption of mobile phones has matured. The adoption of Facebook has matured. All your customers are digitally connected. All those people are online the entire time. The only moment when we're offline is when our battery is flat. At least that's my life. But and you see how the world adapts to that. I don't know if you have this, but if you get a haircut, hey, you need a jacket like this so you can keep on Snapchatting while you're there. If your hairdresser doesn't give you a jacket like this, you have an old school supplier. Right? You need to change instantly. But we also have new dangers. WhatsApping and walking has its limits. Very dangerous. Now, I get really excited to see how the world adapts. And we've got all these signs now throughout Europe. They placed that there before summer, but they had to change them after summer into these signs, because there was this strange trend this summer, so we had to change everything again. But it's really interesting to see how fast things are going. I remember 5 years ago, a drone, that was something, a military tool or something really expensive. Last year, I was spending some time on a Christmas market in a small village in France, and what you could buy were drones on a Christmas market. And they were like 20 euros or something like that. It became a toy. Like this is one of the coolest gadgets, right? It's a bracelet. You put it around your arm. You throw it in the air. It flies up 3 meters away from you. It will take the perfect selfie of you, and then it lands back on your arm. It has become a toy. And that only took 5 years. This is how fast things are going. And I don't want to talk about those things anymore, because that's where we are now. I want to talk about the next few years, because 2016 is the beginning of a new phase, in which it's not just the customer that's connected, but where it's also the entire context that is becoming smart, and everything is being connected. And what that actually means for me is that products and services and stores are coming to life. And this could change customer service completely. Let me show you this example. This intrigues me. You know that Amazon is the world leader in e-readers. They have their Kindle. And next year in the US, the expectation is that more e-books will be sold than printed books. Now, if people read a book on an e-reader, I don't know if you've ever asked that question, but just ask yourself, who is reading who? I think that's really interesting. And the truth is, your e-reader is learning more from you than you are learning from your e-reader. For the first, I write books. I only know how many books I sell. That's it. Now, for the first time, I will actually know if people also read those books. I will know if they skip certain chapters, or I will know if they reread certain chapters. I will even know if they fall asleep reading my books. I will know that. So make sure you don't fall asleep when you read my book, or they will tell me that. But just think about the knowledge that Amazon gets through this and how it will, reinforce their algorithm. And I believe that 2016 is the year where machine learning and artificial intelligence became big. And Google DeepMind played a crucial role in that. So DeepMind is a company that started out in the UK in 2011, and they wanted to make the smartest computer in the world. They became world famous because this computer beat all humans in computer games. Google saw that. Google decided to buy it. And it became world famous this spring. And my apologies for the language on the next slide, but a lot of experts said this is the real oh fuck moment in artificial intelligence. Because what happened in April this year, everyone agreed on that was supposed to happen in 2025. So we are 10 years ahead of schedule. So what happened, and you've probably seen this was all over the world news during spring. Google challenged the world champion Go. And Go is seen as the most difficult board game in the world. These are the number of combinations you have in that game. If you compare it with chess, chess is something for infants, for toddlers, compared to Go. And maybe you remember that in 1995, Kasparov, the world champion in chess, he lost from Deep Blue, the smartest computer from IBM in 1995. And Deep Blue was programmed by humans, because chess has many combinations, but it is still doable for a human to pre-program all the possible combinations. And then you need just a fast computer that runs through all those pre-written lines. Go was seen as a tipping point, because these are billions and billions and billions of combinations that are not pre-programmable by a human, which means if the machine can play better than a human in Go, the machine has learned to play this game by itself. And that's exactly what happened. They played 5 games against each other, and the end score was 4 against 1. 4 for the machine, 1 for the humans. And that is seen as the oh fuck moment in artificial intelligence. And this has a big impact on you guys. This has a big impact on every major industry. This is the evolution that is happening right in front of our eyes. A few years ago, it was okay to say that you had a digital-first strategy in retail. That was okay. Today, that's not okay, because you know that. In your stores, people don't walk in with a laptop, they walk in with a mobile, right? So in retail, it's obvious that you need a mobile-first strategy, probably a mobile-only pretty soon. But tomorrow, you need that artificial intelligence-first world. And one of the buzzwords of 2016, and the first piece of evidence of that, are bots. I don't know if you've seen this. This is a demo. This is not live yet, but this is something from Ray-Ban, the sunglass company. This is a bot in Messenger. So imagine a customer wants to buy a set of sunglasses. It says it can cost $150. I'm a man, and I want an aviator design. So the bot says, let me pull out the 5 most popular ones. So you can take a look. And then the client says, oh, this one looks really cool. This is the one I want. OK, I want to try it on. So they're trying it on. And then he said, yeah, but what does your girlfriend think of this? Oh, let's FaceTime her for a second. Yeah, she agrees. It looks nice. OK, it's ordered, and Uber will deliver that at your home by tomorrow. This is cool. There's no human involved here. This is 24/7 available, fully automated. And then you realize this is going to change customer service. This will change it. Tweeting back within the hour won't be good enough anymore. What customers want to see is this. They want to see the dancing dots. If you ask a question, you want to see that dancing dot. Make no mistake, this is the biggest expectation-building symbol in the world right now. If that dot blinks for like 30 seconds, you expect a huge amount of content. So this is a very dangerous symbol. But that's what we expect. You want real time. And the only way to deal with that is if you start investing in artificial intelligence tools in your customer service. We're sitting on the first rows, and we see this happening right in front of our eyes. This is the world of your customer of tomorrow. Now, if you look at all the technological evolutions, I'm pretty convinced that it's not just about technology. I'm convinced that technology is changing customer behavior and changing customer expectations. And I think the bar for customer service has never been higher than today. So this is my summary of the world today. It's not about digital first, not about AI first, it's about customer first without compromise. And I want to show you this example. This is a story from Zalando, one of the biggest e-commerce players in Europe. And you probably know their philosophy. If you order clothes online and you try them on and you don't like them, you can send them back. No question will be asked. So there was this really bad journalist in Belgium, and he tried it out, how far they would go. So he ordered clothes from Zalando, and he got them, and he destroyed them. So he used scissors, he used paint, he used toothpaste to destroy them, and then send it back to see what Zalando would do. And Zalando just gave the money back. No question was asked. Now, for many people, this is the evidence that Zalando will never have a profit. For some people, this is the final evidence that Zalando is not well organized. For me, this is the evidence that they have a different mindset. I had the pleasure of visiting their headquarters a few times in Berlin, and this is a very, very impressive company. They build relationships built on trust without being naive. So what they do is they flag this journalist in their system. And they're saying, you know, in a relationship, you can betray trust one time. That can happen. That can even happen 2 times. If he would do it twice, that's not a problem. But if that journalist does that 3 times, 3 times is strike. And then they will hunt him down. And they know where he lives, they know where he works, they know his credit card information and his fashion style. So that person will have to go through an identity change and a fashion style change to be able to order again at Zalando. But what they do is they punish the bad guys, the bad customers. And I think this is a lesson, because a lot of companies, they punish the good guys. You know, imagine that you have a rule, a great customer service rule, and you see at the end of the day that some people, 1% of your clients, take advantage of that. Will you change the rules, or will you punish the 1%? And I think most companies change the rules, and then you actually punish the good guys. Now, some retailers hate these rules. I once took a group of retailers to Amazon in Seattle, to the headquarters, and they were complaining to Amazon that their service levels were too high. This was the feedback from Amazon. Complaining about our strategy is not a good strategy. I love that quote. Now, that's why I'm a big fan of this company. This is an old-fashioned Dutch retailer. It's called Jumbo, but I'm a big fan of it, because what they do is they become extreme in customer centricity. One of their rules, and I don't know if it will surprise you, it surprises people in many countries. One of their rules is if you're waiting in line with a full cart, then you have to pay. And if you're fourth in line, you don't have to pay. They give you everything away for free. That's a cool rule, huh? Now, in Belgium, they don't want to do that, the country where I live, because they think customers will form a big line and we'll have to give away everything for free. But the truth is, in many Grocery stores in Belgium, it's very amateuristic. I can say that here, I cannot say that at home, but on a Friday evening when it's very busy and I'm waiting there to pay, there's like a bunch of people very frustrated because you have to wait so long, and then they grab a microphone, they still do that in Belgium, they grab a microphone and they yell through the intercom, through the entire store, and then they say, Paul, can you please come? We need support here at the cash register. Paul, can you come and help? And that changes the atmosphere. Before that, everyone was waiting like this, and when you hear people yelling that support is coming, people move in this position. And they have one mission left in life, and that's being first in this new line that they will open up in the supermarket. And it's just amateuristic how we do it. These guys, how do they do it? They place a sensor in the opening gate, so they count the number of people that walk in. They measure the average shopping time on every moment of the day, and they make sure that Paul is sitting there at the computer system before the customer arrives. It's as simple as that, but they look for the opportunity. They don't complain about Amazon. They look, how can we boost our customer experience? And I think that's the challenge for everyone. Look for the opportunity to boost your customer experience, become more extreme in customer focus. Because this world of automation is forcing us to do so. And I love the world of automation, and it's entering the retail world. Like, this is one of my favorite robots in the retail world. It's in a store in San Jose, in California. In a do-it-yourself store. This robot speaks 7 languages fluently. He recognizes faces. If you don't find a screw or something, it takes you by the hand and guides you to the store, to the place in the store where you can find your product. And when the robot has free time, it cruises through the aisles and it scans all the products, so automatically it can reorder products if necessary. I don't know if we will find humans that are better than that. Look, this is a Chinese restaurant. The waiters are now robots. Doesn't look fun at all, but it does exist. Pepper. Pepper is one of the most famous robots that is being used in retail. This one is selling coffee machines in Tokyo, in Japan. So you see that world of automation, and I get excited by that. But many people also get scared and are saying, hey, aren't we automating the human part here? Are we still going to need humans in the retail world of tomorrow? Now, if you are a little bit worried, I have found alternative jobs. So in case you would lose your job through to automation, I have found an alternative for you, which will be very purposeful and very important. You will be able to guide people through the streets of Istanbul while they're texting. You will save lives by doing so. So it's going to be a very, very important job. So don't worry, there are alternatives. But this is a very important question. What is the role of humans in this digital world? And I'm convinced, I'm a bit different than most people, I'm convinced that the role of people will become even more important than ever before. And we don't need to be naive. You're going to have less customers in your stores, and that number will decrease year after year. And because of that, the human part is increasing in importance. And that's an old economic law. I'm an economist, and this is an old economic law, the law of scarcity, that says if something becomes scarce, it increases in value. Something that is really scarce always increases in value. Now, what will be extremely scarce between you and your customers? That's the human touch. And because of that, it is more important than ever before. And the human part will be a more premium service than ever before. If you really want to be extreme customer-centric, it means that your company is facing a double transformation. On the one hand, you will have to reinvent yourself from a digital point of view. On the other hand, you will need to reinvent the human part as well. Now, this is one of the most impressive retail conferences in Europe. So I'm very happy that I can be here. And I'm sure that all of you have become successful because you are better than average in the human part. Now, you have a choice at this moment. What will your strategy be? Are you going to do this, or are you going to do that? For most retailers, doing this means replacing the strength of humans by a weakness of digital. And you can do this, but then you have to be strong enough from a technology point of view to fight with the Amazons of this world and the Alibabas of this world, because this is where they are. I think for 95% of the retailers, there's only one smart choice, and that's to move to this point, where you're very good in digital and you make a difference through the human part. Now, if you want to reach that point when digital becomes human, the question is, what do humans need to do in this world of brilliant technology? And the answer is very, very simple. We as humans, we need to be good in those things that computers are not good at. And today, that is still an easy question to answer. Today, computers are not as good in the emotional part as us humans. Maybe 15 years from now, that's going to be totally different. And now we have to ask the question again, what can we do that computers cannot do? Today, it's emotion. And I brought a video for you that I want to show you. It's one of my favorite videos. It shows you the limits of technology, and it shows you the power of the human touch. Let's enjoy this video for a second. Let's turn up the volume a little bit.
แม่ลูกตื่นมาแล้วร้องใหญ่เลยอะแม่
สงสัยหิวนม
นมโอ้ยยังไงอะแม่
เปิดการ์ตูน
โอเคการ์ตูนนะลูกการ์ตูนแม่ลูกไม่ได้ติดการ์ตูนลูกติดแม่โอเคไหม
งั้นเอางี้
อ้าวลูกคุยกับแม่หน่อยนะคุยกับแม่
จ๊ะเอ๋แม่อยู่นี่ไงลูก เห็นแม่ไหมคะ
จำกันไม่ได้จะเอ๊ะมัม
กินจังเลยปังเป่งปังเป่งปังเป่งปังเป่งปังเป่งปังเป่งนี่โอ้ไม่ร้องนะลูก
That's a fantastic video, isn't it? I love that video. It shows the power of the human touch. Technology will never replace love. So the question is, what do we need to do as humans? Your team members, you, as a leader, what's important? For me, this is the most important slide of the presentation for any retailer around the world. This is what makes you successful. You need technology to play. You need this to win. Empathy, passion, creativity. I haven't met a computer that is empathic, passionate, and creative. I've met a lot of people that are good in that. And just think about what you expect from people that you work with. This is what I hope the teachers will do in the classroom when they're spending time with my children. This is what I hope my doctor will do when I have an important conversation with my doctor. This is what I hope my financial contact person in a bank or an insurance company will do when I need them. This is what I hope that a sales or service person in a retail environment will do to me. Now, the crazy thing is, the more digital the world becomes, the more important this is because of scarcity. A company like Starbucks is good in both. I like working with Starbucks. I love their company. They're leading in digital, online payments, social media, whatever. But they became world famous with this, handwritten names on cups. And I spent some time at Starbucks, and one of the crucial things is that in the first month, if you work at Starbucks, you don't need to work. You just need to drink coffee. That's a good, smart move. You need to drink coffee and talk with as many employees as possible. Not about work, but about the personal relationships, because they believe if you fit in as a human first, you will do a much better job. And that philosophy, it creates a culture. Like, this is a fantastic example. This is a lady that was working in a Starbucks, and she had a deaf client, a lady that could not hear as a client. And that Starbucks employee, on her own behalf, she learned sign language on YouTube. She learned sign language as a surprise on her own initiative. That is the human touch. Computers personalize and people make it personal. It sounds the same, but it's a huge difference. Personalization, that's data. Making it personal, that's humans. I love this sign. I saw this in Dublin the other day. This is in front of a restaurant. It says, come in and try the worst salad one woman on TripAdvisor had in her life. I thought, I need to try this salad. It has to be the best salad in the world. You know, and there's so many retailers sometimes complaining about this one negative review. That doesn't kill your business. This is dealing with it in a creative way, turning it around, self-confident. I love those things. Computers predict and people surprise. We don't get any surprises anymore because we look for everything on the internet. And then when we go to the real world, we check if it's true what we saw online. If we go to a hotel, we think, oh yeah, the pictures, it's exactly like I've seen online. If you go to a restaurant, you know the menu out of your heart because you've seen it online. So guess what that does through the value of a surprise? A surprise for a customer is very scarce. Because of that, it increases in value. Now imagine that you have a group of Scottish clients coming into your store, place these chairs there, and the Scottish, they will love you for the rest of their life. You guys are very lucky, you're very fortunate. You work in cool industries. Retail is by definition cool. You could have worked in a boring industry, like cleaning the windows of company buildings. That is pretty boring. Well, if you then have the brilliant mind, if you then are the genius, that the day when your employees have to wash the windows of a children's hospital, that you put them in a superhero suit, I think that's just the most awesome thing in the world. The hospital likes this, the children have a smile on their face, and those 4 employees, they have the coolest story ever to tell their friends. Computers deliver, people over-deliver. What you need in your retail environment, what people need to do is color outside of the lines in favor of the customer. Don't follow the rules, but change the rules in favor of the customer, because that's something that Facebook cannot do. Facebook follows the process. They follow the script. A robot follows the script. We can do more as humans, and it's in small things. Like, you saw that I've been with my family in Disney World, and when we were in Orlando, we also went to the competition, Universal Studios, and my son was then 4.5, my oldest son, and he's a big fan of water rides and theme parks, and in all humbleness, I've done my pre-marketing to him in a brilliant way. I told him, Sibe, that's the name of my son, I said, Sibe, 2 more weeks, I showed him videos, 1 more week, tomorrow, so he was completely hyped up, and we went to the park, we went to the ride, we were the first ones there, everyone really excited. And as I said, my pre-marketing was good, but my research was really, really bad, because he was 2 centimeters short to go on the ride. He was not allowed on the ride. So you can imagine what happened. And I can tell you from a personal experience, a 4-year-old has a lot of tools to express that he's not happy with something. And he used those tools to its full potential at that moment. So that was a bad start of our day. Now, the guy from the park, he saw that, and he came over, and he pulled out this coupon, like this. And he said, look, your son is almost tall enough. Next time that he's here, he's definitely going to be tall enough. And this is a VIP voucher. He can use this for the rest of his life. And every time that he's here, he doesn't have to wait in line, and we're going to do all kind of cool stuff. And I thought, wow. These guys thought about this, they made a process, this is really cool. So I was making this picture for my book and my presentations. And while I was doing that, I suddenly realized that a voucher like this has 0.0 impact on a 4-year-old child. 0. They are more into a real-time solution, not something for 20 years from now, but now. So it didn't work. Now, this part was pre-programmed by the management in a fantastic way. But if the guy from the park would have been a robot, this is where he would have stopped, because it's pre-programmed. But he didn't stop. He saw that it didn't work. He was empathic, passionate, creative. So he decided to move forward, and he said, is there a ride that your son would like to go on and that he is tall enough for? And we said, Spider-Man. Yeah, our son would love to go on Spider-Man. So the guy grabbed his walkie-talkie, and we could hear him talk. He said to his colleague at the Spider-Man ride, he said, I have a family of 4 here waiting for me. Could you please put them on the Spider-Man ride, because one of the kids has a real mental breakdown right now. So just put them on the ride, please. Okay, and that's what happened. That's what they did. We went backstage, they put us on the ride, and everyone was happy again. Something small, something really small, but it has an impact. It's those small things that have a huge impact. That's what humans do. Those small things that have an impact, and that computers cannot feel that they will have an impact if you react on that. So, and in this case, you know what? The park didn't do anything wrong. It was entirely my fault. It was my fault. And what they did is, even if I made a mistake, they didn't point fingers at me. They didn't say, yeah, but it was your mistake. You talked to your child, you should have looked on our website, and you would have known that he's not tall enough, or it's your problem. They didn't do that. They solved the problem for me. They didn't look for the guy who did it. And I think that's also something that we need to spend time in. How can we, don't point fingers to customers, but show them that we really care. Computers confirm and people can smile. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying now that this human part will prevail over technology. No, my message is that the human part adds a complete different value for the customer than the digital part. The digital part is about fast and efficiency and personalization. The human part is about emotion. And both are crucial. Both are crucial. And if I have to summarize it, I'm going towards the end of my presentation. The future of customer relationships. Remember this slide? You have more context now, but I think this is your challenge. I really believe this is the challenge for the retail industry. Use technology as much as you can, and because of that, allow your people to deliver a more personal service. And if you combine those two, I think that's a winning track. This is completely based on that old economic law of scarcity. The human part is so scarce in this world that it's so easy to score points. It's so easy to score points. But you just have to realize that the role of your employees, your role, will change from a more operational role towards a more human role. That's what's happening at this point, a more emotional role. The empathy, passion, creative part is crucial in this world. But it means that the challenge is bigger than we anticipated it is. Challenge is bigger. It's a double transformation. It's not just technology, it's also that human part. And at the end of the day, you will see that every successful retailer succeeded in the digital transformation. And all of you will have more or less the same. And the winners will be the ones that did the human transformation in the best way. So, if you look at the evolution, if you see how fast things are going, how we are at this new phase where artificial intelligence will boost customer experience even more, you need to speed up your game in the retail world. It's going really, really fast. But at the same time, this is also an open invitation to focus also on that human part and reach that point where digital becomes human. And last thing I want to ask you is this. Are you ambitious enough in that? I have the feeling that sometimes we are not ambitious enough. And I want to share this last story with you about one of the companies that I'm really excited about. I had the pleasure of going to this company a few times. This is SpaceX, and SpaceX is run by Elon Musk. He owns Tesla, he also has SpaceX. And SpaceX is a B2B aerospace company. They launch rockets and they release satellites. So their customers are the satellites builders in the world. NASA is their biggest client. And what makes them unique is that they are capable to let the rocket come back to Earth so they can reuse the rocket. They've done that a couple of times on land. This is now a floating device on the ocean. A rocket released satellites and then it lands back on a floating device in the middle of the ocean. I've been next to that rocket. That rocket is as big as the Apollo. And those small landing feet that you see, they're like 60 meters tall. This is a huge thing that is landing on a floating device in the ocean. Now, if they optimize this process, they will be able to reuse rockets, and it will decrease the price of satellites to release satellites in outer space with 99%. This will change the world. So you have to imagine, we're sitting there with a group of entrepreneurs, CEOs, and they're telling us this, and we think, wow. They're saying, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's the boring part of our company. This is not important. This is just the way we make money. He says, our founder, Elon Musk, he believes that in a few more years, this planet will be ruined because we're all bad humans, we're doing the wrong things. This planet will be ruined. So our ambition is to save mankind, is what he said. I don't know what your ambition is. Their ambition is to save mankind. And then he continued. He said, we're going to evacuate Earth, and we're going to colonize Mars. I can tell you, if you're sitting there with a group of European CEOs, and there's this American guy, in front of you saying, ruining the planet, saving mankind, evacuating Earth, and colonizing Mars, you think you have arrived at a cocaine plantation. You don't believe a word of that. But we were able to go into the factory. We saw 2,000 engineers there running around with the same black T-shirt that said, Occupy Mars on it. We left that company 2 hours later and we thought, these guys are actually going to do it. And since that day, that was 2 years ago, I'm following this company. And then you read these things, like Google is investing $1 billion in SpaceX. This is a crazy article because Google will actually install internet in space for them. And I thought, okay, this is where humanity is at this point. We're going to a new planet. What is the first thing we're going to install on this new planet? the Wi-Fi. That's the first thing that we can do. So we can make our selfies and send them back to Earth. It's a crazy world. But it's also interesting, even if they have bad news, like on September 1st, a rocket exploded, they talk about that. They share that in videos. Elon Musk then tweets this. This is a crazy tweet. He said, no, it wasn't really an explosion. It was a fast fire, not an explosion. That's something else. But it's crazy to see how open they are, how they talk about this. I've been following these guys for 2 years now. And on September 28th this year, they released this video. If you ever have time, spend time on it, because it tells their concrete plans on how they want to colonize Mars. And they're saying in 2018, we will launch a first unmanned mission to Mars, and we will do 3 more of them. And by 2025, we want the first manned mission to Mars. It has to be a one-way ticket, and they have to build the colony. And then we're going to build rocket ships that can ship 200 people to Mars. And by 2040, we want 1 million people on Mars. And that should actually be like a backup planet of what we have on Earth. So this is extreme. This is going from a wild idea 12 years ago that is now actually becoming real. So the question is, are we ambitious enough? I think we need to play our game higher and faster, because the other players in the world are doing that. And this is my pledge to everyone that I speak to: try to be extremely ambitious and focus on those both angles, the digital and the human one. Last thing I want to give you before it's lunchtime is a piece of help. If you want to keep up with technology and keep up with what's happening in the world of customer experience, and you don't see the possibility to do that, well, I'm your filter on the world. What I do is I make a weekly video on my YouTube channel. Every Friday I post that, and it's a 3 to 6 minute video, and it gives you an update about what happens in the world of technology, marketing, and customer experience. And just subscribe to the channel or follow me on Facebook, and you will be able to show off to your friends how well you know what's going on in the world of digital. I wish you all the best with that, and I really want to thank you very, very much that I could be here. Thank you very much.